Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean, this is In The Mixer, episode 84. Happy Thursday, wherever in the world you're watching from. A little bit different today because for you guys it's been 24 hours. For me, I'm just carrying on straight from where the last episode finished, which I don't usually do. But we've got two massive fixtures against Blackburn, who are top of the division, and Portsmouth, who are currently second. We could potentially, if results go our way, finish the episode at top of the division, though there are a lot of other things that have to go our way in that build-up as well. Given that we are just jumping in straight from where the last episode finished, I've pretty much carried right on from where we were up to, because I thought, why not show everyone something a little bit different, how we kind of put our team together a few days in advance, how we use our rest days, all that sort of stuff. Things that I would usually not necessarily keep in an episode and edit out, or things that usually I just do quietly and then edit that gap out during the middle. So this is how we finished up last episode. We already know that Marcus Curse is going to be out for the next one with a suspension. So Demir Mansell immediately come back in. I do want to try and get fullback coverage on the bench where possible. So we're going to put Justice Bushbauer in there as well. Tyrone Taylor, I think, is also going to drop out. So we might drop Ashley Barry entirely, bring Greisinger back in. I want to keep that Escobar and Greisinger partnership at the centre of defence working as much as humanly possible. And otherwise, I think it went relatively well, dropping back to this 4-4-2 structure that we played last time out. I think it worked well. I don't think it necessarily gets the best out of De Vargas, and I think Raphael is quite, to be honest, struggling with the jump up in performance and jump up in level that he's playing at. But I don't see any reason why we can't continue trying to work this partnership as being like something else to present to teams as a different challenge. We have done relatively well so far this season playing with the 4-2-3-1 structure. I don't want to get too far away from it. So I think for the game against Blackburn, just for familiarity's sake, and for the fact that Benizzi, I say Bazzini every time, will be back and fully fit. We're going to put him back in. We're going to let Dorber play a little bit deeper because that suits his preferred role in the formation a little bit better as well. If we play him 10 yards further forward, he's apparently garbage. If we play him 10 yards further back, he's fine. So we'll see how that goes as a combination. It's a little bit asymmetric almost in its structure. And given that we are away from home, I'm just going to go positive. We're not going to go hell for leather. We're not going to go attacking. We're going to see how we go after that. You can see here we've got quite a few different players as well that are sitting around 70% condition. There's a few that are up towards 90s, 80s, whatever else. But once you see players starting to get towards consistently the lower end of the 70s, start utilising rest days. We've got a full 7 days if we look at our calendar here before the game against Blackburn. We don't need to use one this time, but I do think it gives you like a little bonus to your conditioning if you use rest days applicably. So if we look forward a couple of weeks, we've got Rochdale and Sheffield Wednesday 3 days apart. I'll definitely make this Sunday a rest day where no one comes to training. We rest the entire squad to try and boost everyone's fitness, morale, whatever else, as games start coming thicker and faster as we get into the December period. Otherwise, it's relatively straightforward. Everyone's just playing in their preferred roles in the formation. I'm being more selective now in the transfer market as well, like a lot of the players that we're looking at around the world and getting scouting reports for. I'm really only focusing on the ones that are going to play in their preferred role, in their preferred spot on the pitch, in our structure. Like, there's no real point at the moment me signing like 4 Messiahs if I'm not using that structure in our build-up. And some of these scout reports have come back in the last few days. There's a few guys here that aren't necessarily at the level that we would want them to be. We really want to focus on 5-star potential players and really players that are currently at like 3-star current ability to actually improve the existing squad rather than, players that are prospects for the future. But some of these guys are 16 years of age, 17 years of age. We wouldn't actually sign them for another year. And as an update, we already have a few guys that are joining at the end of this season anyway. So continuing to build for the future, continuing to buy players in advance and seeing how they turn out. It's worked for us so far. We'll see how it goes as we run out of money towards the end of this season. As far as our training is concerned, I really just leave it up to the coaches during the week to decide what they want to do, but I maintain control of the individual roles just so that everyone's working towards their role in the structure and the formation. There's no point anyone learning to be like a trequartista if we're not going to play with one. So everyone's just working towards their preferred playing roles in our existing 4-2-3-1 shape and structure. So we've got like 2 deep line playmakers on defend that we're trying to work through there. It's because I really want to get that role nailed down in the side. We've also got deep line playmakers on support, wingers on attack. That's ideally what we want, playing a little bit further forward. And I've got both the forwards setting to work at pressing forward, which is desperately an area that I think we could try and improve to get the most out of the shape and the formation. Otherwise, a couple of different players here on individual training regimes for things that they need to be working on, mostly relating to set pieces. If they're a weakness and I want them to use their set pieces, I tend to do them more by position than actual ability in that role. Free kicks are a little bit different, penalties are a little bit different, but deep free kicks, corners, that sort of stuff, I'd rather it was set up by their position on the pitch rather than being set to a specific player. I think if you've got like 2 right backs that are set to stay back here and then one of them starts taking corners, you end up 1v1. It's a whole thing. If you've got long throw routines where a centre back takes it and you haven't had anyone set up here to stay back for them, you kind of get yourself into situations as well. So everyone is just set up to attack based on their position on the pitch. And that's the same for all of our mentalities, all our different structures, regardless of side. It pretty much works the same way all the way through. Anyway, more than enough from me. We are going into these top of the table clashes. Hopefully they're going to be decent games. Hopefully it's going to make for good content. We're going to jump forward and look at the two lineups against Blackburn now. Right, just like that, we're a week ahead. It's a very strong looking lineup, but it is very familiar. We've played them in cup competitions. We squeaked past them a couple of seasons ago when we were in League One in the FA Cup. They've got Karamaka Dembele on a wing still. Still only 26, which is crazy to think. He's playing as like an inverted winger, a little bit deeper, but a very good player. They've got Quello on the other side, who is also a very talented wing option. Started at Racing Club and then at Leeds, and now has dropped down to Blackburn. Leeds have been in the Premier League now for I think about 6 years straight. And Arvin Appiah, one of the better young English prospects, playing up front, 28 years of age now, can play on the wing, can play up front as an advanced forward, which is how they use him. A very, very effective player, and consistently scored against us, which is quite frustrating. We've got Yangel Herrera, 31-year-old Ecuadorian international, 100 caps, a nice even number there. I don't know if he's retired or continuing, but he wears the captain's armband for Blackburn. You can see why they are towards the top of the division. Some of the players that they've got in here, just technically, are very, very good. We'll have to be at our best to get beyond them. We're playing our weird shape at the moment. Assertively, we're going to say we owe Blackburn after what happened in our last game. I can't actually remember what that result was. I assume it was last season. They were a good side last season as well, made the playoffs before getting eliminated. Gardner, deep ball in, finds Black. Thankfully, the strike is straight at Kubis. If that had been on target, we'd have been in some trouble. And they've immediately put us under the back foot here. Ball forward, Trueblood with the header. Quello looks to step inside. Ugalumba, I guess is the pronunciation there. Back to Pavlovic. Ball in behind. Ramirez with a good header recover. Demir Mance making a rare start for us so far. Hopefully his nerves can be managed throughout the course of the game. Ramirez struggling to maintain possession and it's lost in midfield. Now Dembele's gotten goal side because Mance had pushed forward. Escobar gets beaten and thankfully Karamoko Dembele straight at Kubis, who has, to be fair, been quite good over the first few weeks of the season. I thought maybe goalkeeper would be one of the positions where we might note. Last year we of course had the Sheriff and then we brought in Viscanyan, we brought in a couple other players as well. I thought that might be one of the positions we struggled with this year, but he's been excellent so far. Trueblood with the ball here from a throw-in. Quello's recovered possession. He hasn't got a lot on forward. He's gone very direct towards Appiah, and they're 2v2 at the back. Good recovery challenge there from Greisinger. Black's going to keep the ball in, or thankfully, no, he plays it straight out. Gives us a bit of a reprieve. But 2v2 from throw-ins isn't going to be ideal for us. We can't push everybody forward. Through 30 minutes now, Greisinger with the ball. Back to Kubis. Can we work a highlight our way? Escobar in possession. Looks forward to no one in particular. Dewsbury Hall recovers and sends Appiah into the channel. Their two forward players just peel off into wide areas. It's a great cross from Appiah, and Paul Black gets himself in amongst a couple of defenders there and manages to nod home at far post. We'll check it out in 3 dimensions here, but he just peels off the shoulder there, and he doesn't just drag the fullback. He drags the centre back as well, and then that backstick run. You would expect Escobar to probably go after that header instead of using Dance at far post, but Black gets there first, and they go a goal up. We're going to use our demand more shout here. Escobar with a deep free kick. Back to Kubis. We don't seem to have much urgency trying to get the ball forward. Into Benezi now, making his return from injury, missing the last game, of course. Madrigal to De Vargas. Now Ramirez on the left wing, steps inside, gets to the edge of the area, and the strike from distance didn't have a lot of direction on it and well wide. But the first real highlight we've seen, first shot in anger from the Isle of Man side. Corner here, Dewsbury Hall towards Black, and it's pinballing around, and somehow they managed to get it home. Thankfully, it's going to be ruled out for offside. A bit of a reprieve there. Ogalumba, I think, immediately got into Black's header, or got in the way of Black's header. And we're a goal down in injury time. So first half, 14 shots, 6 on target, 46% possession. We've had 3 shots, none on target yet, and 54% of the ball. We're going to aggressively say, show me something else in the second half. Everyone seems to have responded positively, except for Demir Mance at left back, who seems to really be struggling. Let's also switch up and go to our attacking mentality, because why not? And let's just put everyone in their preferred roles. I'm going to play Dorber a little bit further forward and see how he gets on. But quite a few players looking at average ratings here struggling. Ramirez hasn't played well. Vargas hasn't played well. Mance obviously struggling quite a bit. We'll give them 15 minutes. We'll see how they're travelling. And then we might make subs based on form, fitness, and trying to get an equaliser in this one. All right, we're through that 60-minute period now. So let's look at the subs. Ramirez hasn't had a great game. I'm going to leave him out there, though. I've got faith in him. Dorber struggling. We'll bring on Davies, see if he can contribute something to this match. And De Vargas hasn't had a great game either. So do we want to make that change, or do we want to try and push for something else? We might bring on, can Fushbauer play on the left-hand side, inverted wing back on defend. I'm more concerned, I think, defensively than I am going forward at the minute. Hosseini hasn't had a great game either. Madrigal has struggled also. We might bring on the Wolf. He hasn't played a tremendous amount in the last couple of weeks. We'll bring him on alongside Hosseini. We'll go a little bit more direct over the top. Two of our better passes at the base of midfield, trying to find balls over the shoulder. Passionately, I have faith in you guys. Get out there, make a difference. And you know what I might do? Can I jump back into our tactics? Wait for those changes to come through. I'm going to hit pause. I'm also going to set the two wingers, I think, to go attack. And let's also set DeVargas to be a pressing forward again on attack, just to get him a little bit further forward. And let's do it for Benezi as well. We haven't really tried that one out, the advanced playmaker on attack. Let's just see how it goes and see how we set ourselves up from there. I'm going to also use our Get Creative shout. 65 minutes played. A few seem inspired. We haven't really had a strike on target that we've seen. Blackburn playing it out from the back here. Dembele with the ball. Looks for the ball in behind for Apaya, who has gotten goal side again. Greisinger has dragged him back, and we're going to go down to 10 men because I just made our 3 subs. God damn it, Football Manager, you pieces of shit. Greisinger has been fantastic all season. Hasn't made any rash challenges. And as soon as we have a game where I make 3 subs, he, of course, drags a man back for a second yellow card. This is what we're going to go with. We're going to go after it. We need to try and get a win. Worst case scenario, we lose 3-0. That's fine. We're already a goal down, but maybe we can try and snag something as 10 men. All right, 10 minutes remaining. We're going to use our demand more shout. They've got a corner. Ball away by Escobar. Good header. It's going to come back out to Apaya. Dembele from the top of the box. Ramirez wins it back quite well and plays forward to Benezi, who's stayed forward. Can he try and wait for support here? Square it up. He's got players near him. Instead, he goes the drive himself, and Ruddy does quite well to get his body behind it and saves. Goal kick. Kubis plays Escobar. Back to Kubis again. Look to the fullbacks. Oh, it's a poor ball. Dembele's going to get there first, and there's a man open. Thankfully, Dembele goes to strike from the wide area. If he had slid that one across the 6-yard box, it would have been 2-0. They've got the ball here again. Wolf manages to poke it away, but Blackburn recover. Dewsbury Hall, who's been busy. Ugalumba finds Apaya, and it's a good strike. I think it was just going wide, but Kubis wouldn't have known and pushes it around the post for the corner. Dewsbury Hall to take. This is where they gave us issues earlier on in the game. Wolf with a good header away. Davies with the ball up the line. If he had had a bit more composure and dribbled forward, we would have had players bursting in to support. Can we use one more Get Creative shout? And then as we have 5 minutes of additional time, anything late would be probably undeserved, but I'd take it. We're through 5 minutes now, and the referee calls full time. It's hard to say Blackburn didn't deserve their win. They had 20 shots, 9 on target, 50% possession, but just so frustrating you go down to 10 men. 7 shots, 3 on target, 50% for us. We definitely came back into it in the second half. Would have been nice to win, but it wasn't meant to be. And Blackburn go top of the division and 4 points clear of us. Quite a bit of movement on that match day. Actually, Portsmouth also lost, it looks like. 1-0 to Wigan randomly out of nowhere. So Ipswich move up into the automatic promotion spot. Aston Villa also leapfrogging them as well with a draw against Preston in their game. So still incredibly tight. By no means are we out of this one. There's only 15 games played. Greisinger is going to be out for the next one. May choose to fine, but the chance of becoming upset was dismissed for repressible. Yeah, so he deserved that. We'll just give him the regular warning as agreed in the code of conduct. We'll let the assistant do the post-match press conference, and let's set up our tactic a week in advance for what we want to do. I want to go attacking. I'm going to get Dorber out, Davies back out there and Dorber off. Got to get Raphael on the bench. I should have done that for the last game as well. And then Greisinger will miss out on this one. So we'll bring on Taylor, and we might switch up his player role in a moment. Put Barry on the bench for Greisinger as well. So just to set him up, we'll put him as a no-nonsense centre-back. And then I'm going to leave DeVargas as the pressing forward because I want to try and get the most out of that role. Might set Ramirez to be a winger on attack, see how that works. Might also set Davies to be a winger on attack as well. It's not their preferred, but we need to try and get them some support. I'm going to make Madrigal just a central midfielder on support also. Seems to have relatively good balance. We'll see how it goes in theory. Magic of editing, though, we'll jump forward to the game against Portsmouth now. Just like that, we're a week ahead. We are going with a couple of changes. Taylor, of course, comes in. Davies comes in at right-hand side, and I nearly forgot him. Marcus Kirst comes back in at left wing back. Man seemed to struggle in that last game, and it might be that he's just not ready for championship football yet. Portsmouth are playing a really weird 4-3-1-2, very, very narrow. I'm hopeful that we can get these wide players kind of overlapping a little bit. We've got complete wing backs. We've got decent wingers on support. Maybe we can work some 2v1 situations in this area. Portsmouth do have some good players. Benjamin Garr starts at Man City's academy. He's a very good right winger. They're playing him as like a defensive midfielder, it looks like, or a central midfielder, playing a bit deeper. But he's their leading assist maker for the season, so he's obviously decent. Lewis Potter up top, ex-Hull City striker. Can play on the right wing, can play as an inverted winger, can play up top, which is how they're using him. He looks fairly solid and is their leading scorer for the season so far. Moore at the back is their captain, 32-year-old defender from Bristol City. Looks solid, not spectacular, but solid given that he is 32 years of age. And in goal, Marcus Dewhurst, of course, one of the highest potential young English goalkeepers at the start of anyone's save. It's interesting to see where he bobs up in a variety of different people's saves and series over the course of time. Assertively, we're going to say, well, let's go passionately. Great opportunity. Yeah, why not? It seems to consistently work. And worst case scenario, if this doesn't go well in the first half, we might bring back that 4-4-2 again. It worked in the last episode. I kind of thought about for a split second maybe doing it in this game. But really, I want to keep faith with the structure. I want to keep it consistent. And we don't have the depth up front to continue playing two up top every week. We've had a decent run there and a good strike from Kirst. The corner comes to nothing. And then a ball forward to Lewis Potter is concerning. Kirst goes through him. And it's not going to be a red, is it? Thankfully, just a yellow. I thought for a split second, whenever you see any challenge like that in a highlight, you always think, is this going to be a red card inside the opening few minutes? 27 minutes played. We've got a deep throw in here. Benezi back to Kirst. Long ball forward towards De Vargas with a good header to Ramirez. He's not quite goal side though. The defence has dropped quite well around him. Reverse pass to De Vargas and he finds the finish. Only his fourth goal of the season. But I have to give him credit. He's scoring quite a bit when we're recording and you guys are seeing it. Lovely little reverse pass. So Ramirez does quite well to carry the ball forward. And then the support runs are good. We've got 4 or 5 midfielders trying to join in. He loses the ball and then just plays that lovely little reverse pass in to Vargas from 6 yards out. That's kind of his range. He's not bad from 6 yards. Any further back, he seems to struggle quite a bit. 34 gone, got another throw in, similar structure to where the last highlight started. Ramirez turns his man and turns away. He's been quite good, the ex-Arsenal junior, since we picked him up. Madrigal gives the ball away in midfield and it's played all the way back to Dewhurst and 3 men commit to closing down the goalkeeper, which has put us under pressure here. The goal side in midfield, Javorkic just stand him up. Overlapping fullback now is Bogle. Ball pinballs around, Lewis Potter recovers in the box. Back to Bogle, squares it to Gar, and thankfully everybody manages to charge down the shot well. We can't have 3 guys committing to the goalkeeper, boys. That's not going to get us any success. Gar with the ball in and flick on header from Moore near post. Kubis with a wonderful save to push it out for the corner again. A little bit of pressure here from Portsmouth. First we've seen from the highlights so far. Poor corner that time though. Headed away by Davies to Portsmouth version of Davies. Good flick on header by Kirst and Ramirez should recover. Highlight comes to an end. We're going to use our demand more shout here because they're just putting us under a little bit of strain. Bogle with the throw in. Gets it back as well. Ball across to Conan, the other overlapping fullback. Squared towards Kubis and it manages to hit the post. Let's check this out in 3 dimensions. I don't know if Kubis makes an error or if it clips the post and somehow just falls to Keen Lewis Potter 6 yards out. If it is, I'm going to be a little bit pissed off with the way that that's come off the woodwork. We'll check it out here. It's not a bad ball. Overlapping fullback sticks with it. And then it's a close down and Kubis, I can't be mad at Kubis because he's made some tremendous saves throughout the course of this series so far. But frustrating that he's dropped that one, of course, to their leading scorer for the season. 2 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half here. We've got a late highlight. It's going to start with a Portsmouth throw. Conan to Gar, who turns the man and looks for a ball over the top to Walton. Where's our defence at the moment? And Kubis does well to save, but can't stop it from going out to the corner. Late pressure here from Portsmouth. Gar to take, wraps his foot around it. Good header away from Taylor. Moore should recover. Plays it across to Walton. Just stand him up, boys. And thankfully the referee calls half-time. So half-time, 1-1. We've had 4 shots, 2 on target, 48% possession. 9 shots, 7 on target, 52% of the ball for Portsmouth. So I think what we're going to say is, passionately, pleased with how things are going, keep it up. And I'm going to move us back to our positive mentality. And maybe we go to the 4-4-2 to see how it goes in the second half. Let's give it a go. I don't think I need to make any subs relating to it, but maybe we drop that to be central defender, get everyone in their preferred roles. We can't do it for Davis. Maybe we move him back to be a pressing forward as well, a little bit further forward there. Let's see how this goes. It's like a 4-4-1-1, which we did try briefly, unsuccessfully, last season. But let's see how this goes as just mixing it up tactically. Try and keep Portsmouth guessing. Lewis Potter gets a ball across. It's managed to fall back stick for Gar, and he's got the strike back in. That's frustrating. It's a good goal, to be fair, but Charlie Davies missed header. Charlie Davies just isn't up to championship football. I think after bring something in January to see how we go. I'll have to ask for some extra money from the board, but he's missed a header there, and if he had gotten it, we'd have been out of trouble. Gar with a good touch around the fullback and a fairly wonderful finish to give him a lot of credit. We're through an hour. Let's go back to our attacking structure. Let's push everyone on as well. Wingers are going to attack roles. Benezi's going to an attack role as well. Who's struggling the most with fitness? Benezi hasn't had a good game. Bring on Wademan. He's comfortable there. Curse, again, struggling. Charlie Davies, again, struggling. Husseini hasn't had a great game, which is rare for him. Might also change up the forward as well. De Vargas hasn't had a bad game by any stretch, but we need to try and find something. And maybe bringing on a fresh striker, a little bit of legs over the top, will help us out. He'll move to the advanced playmaker role. Advanced forward role. We'll use our get creative shout as well. Everyone seems inspired. Probably more than I'd like to in a regular episode, chopping and changing our different mentalities, our different shapes, but it's just good to try something different sometimes. All right, we're through the second half here. 10 minutes remain. We use our demand more shout. Everyone seems focused, but what we need is to find the back of the net, boys. Otherwise, this has not been a fruitful affair in any way. We'll do well to stay in the playoff positions as things currently stand. 2 minutes to be added on. We're through that now, and Jesus Christ, that was one of the most boring second halves I think we've had in the series to date. 12 shots, 5 on target, 44% possession for us. 16, 11 and 56. That pressure they put on in the first half after we took an early lead definitely came through assertively. Not happy with the performance out there. At least everyone's responded positively, which is good to see. So that does leave us still in the promotion spots. The playoff spots, I should say. 6th with 16 games played, 8 wins, 2 draws, 6 defeats, which isn't great. Only a +1 goal difference, which is pretty poor, and 26 points. We are now 5 points off Ipswich and Blackburn, who are the top 2 sides, but their goal difference is more than 11 higher than us for both sides. Cardiff sniffing around, Stoke sniffing around, Luton, Swansea, West Brom, quite a few different teams there could leapfrog us if we continue to drop any points. Thankfully, our schedule doesn't look too bad. I think we've got Rochdale and Sheffield Wednesday, which are both winnable games. And then we've got a decent little run here of playing teams outside the top 10. We do play Ipswich in top spot. That's kind of going to be an interesting one. But what I'm thinking is we come back and do the games against Huddersfield and Blackburn. I know we just played them, Huddersfield in yesterday's episode, Blackburn in today's. It'll be a good revenge mission for us. But I think it's always good to kind of do that last game of the year and see what position we're in going into the January transfer window. And it does mean that we'll play 7 or 8 games off camera to try and get our form back and try and continue our climb up the table. So 2 top of the table games, not the results that I wanted, but we are still doing quite well. I have to try and retain perspective throughout the course of this series. We definitely didn't go into the loan market deliberately to try and develop our own players, and that's going to take a little bit more time. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. As always, if you do have any feedback, positive or negative, drop it in the comment section below. Let me know what saves you're doing. I do respond to every single comment that I get as quickly as I can. But more than anything, thank you so much for watching. That's the part I appreciate the most. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.